It is June, the start of the rainy season, and we are somewhere in the plains of the Orinoco. Each year, these flat grasslands are parched by the severest of droughts, and later inundated by the heaviest of floods that bring with them the nutrients the flora and fauna need to survive. And the best time to take a look at this region to learn something of its magnificent wildlife is the rainy season, when a tremendous explosion of life takes place with the coming of the rains. You can easily tell when you are in the Orinoco Plains by the fauna. Large flocks of waders compete for food in the lagoons and swamps that form because of the flatness of the land. The first of the storks to catch the eye are the largest, like these maguari storks. Then come the wood storks, here fighting over a fish that one of them has caught. The biggest of all, the jabiru, is over 5 feet tall. Among those with white plumage is the great heron. The cattle egret, as usual with its host. Another member of the heron family, but smaller than the great heron, is the snowy egret. Here we have a roseate spoonbill with its strange pastel color and peculiar style of fishing, next to a brilliant scarlet ibis, perhaps the most colorful of all. A sharp-tailed ibis in a swamp searching for prey. A white-necked heron with its black-crested head. The striated heron, here camouflaged and ready to attack. A buff-necked ibis. A southern lapwing in search of insects. A pied lapwing with its distinctive head movements. A jacana searching for insects. A common stilt. Different species of duck, much prized by hunters in the Llanos. Among the birds of prey, we have the splendid great black hawk. A black-collared hawk fishing. A yellow-headed caracara catching ticks on the back of a horse. A crested caracara searching on the ground. A savanna hawk ready to go hunting in the plains. Vultures, nature's garbage collectors, are devouring the remains of a capybara. Suddenly, they all move away at the approach of a young hawk, who, beset by hunger, resorts to carrion. The vultures will have to wait their turn to carry on their feast. There are many other interesting birds, among them the burrowing owl, a whole family. A kingfisher. The aninga, drying its plumage. The melodious tropical mockingbird. The yellow oriole, here nesting in a bush. The brilliant red-capped cardinal taking a shower. The white-headed marsh tyrant, so named because of its markings. The cattle tyrant, as always, catching insects on the back of a mammal. The tropical kingbird, grooming its plumage. The fork-tailed flycatcher with its long, forked tail. Here are a white-winged swallow and a yellow-throated spinetail in a fight over territory. The yellow-throated spinetail has to live in its nest in close proximity to the swallow, who refuses to move from its hunting vantage point. Most of these small birds help to control the large numbers of insects inhabiting these places, thus maintaining the ecological balance. Among the reptiles worthy of note is the earth turtle, much sought after for its meat. The amphibious Galapagos are found in large numbers in the water reservoirs. The great water lizard can grow up to a meter long. Among the large reptiles, we have this caiman, a small alligator that can reach up to 10 feet in length. Here's one sunning itself on the banks of a stream to activate its cold-blooded organism. It feeds on the fish it catches with considerable skill in the streams and lagoons. Then there is the anaconda, the biggest of all snakes. It can grow to a length of 18 feet. There are many tales of 30 and 50-foot anacondas attacking people, but the fact of the matter is that normally these snakes always flee when confronted by their great predator, man. Among the mammals worth mentioning is the white-tailed deer. During the first half of this century, white-tailed deer were abundant, but indiscriminate hunting for sport and trade have so reduced their numbers that they are now only found in some states on ranches where conservation is practiced. Special mention should be made of the capybara, the largest rodent in the world, which can weigh as much as 130 pounds. These rodents used to be found in large numbers, even in the central regions of Venezuela. Now, however, they are restricted to a few ranches in the Orinoco Plains, where the policy is to conserve and exploit them rationally. The Llanos, local name for these plains, located mostly to the north of the Orinoco, make up the Orinoco-Amazon basin and empty their waters into the Orinoco from the north and west, contributing a considerable proportion of the river's volume at the midpoint on its way to the sea. The plains are bordered by a series of mountain chains with landscapes that are totally unlike the neighboring areas. In parts of their rugged landscape, particularly in the north, there are small clumps of woodland that provide cover for a considerable number of wildlife species that make occasional or regular forays into the plains in search of food. Among them are the porcupine, a fair-sized tree-dwelling rodent that feeds on leaves, fruit, and flowers in the treetops. The paca is another rodent much prized by hunters, which is why it is in danger of extinction. The paca is nocturnal, lives in burrows, and is unfriendly by nature, a personality trait that has saved it from total extinction. The common possum is the largest marsupial found in all parts of Venezuela. It has adapted well to the presence of man, feeding on garbage and some domestic animals, a habit that has earned it a bad name that is not altogether unjustified. The agouti is another rodent that lives in the humid and deciduous forests. It is both diurnal and nocturnal. It is also sought for its meat. The wild rabbit lives in most of Venezuela's arid areas, also prized by hunters. The squirrel is found mainly in rain and cloud forests, although it also goes to the lower-lying areas in search of food, mainly to the plantations. The honey-colored lesser anteater is a skilled tree dweller that feeds on ants and termites. The kinkajou is a strictly nocturnal tree dweller that feeds on reptiles and small mammals. The bare-tailed woolly possum, the size of a mouse, belongs to the marsupial family and uses its sharp teeth to hunt insects. The tayra, about a meter in length, feeds on small animals and birds, and also on fruit and honey. The short-eared dog, the size of a medium-sized dog, is still seen in many parts of the country at night and at dawn, when it returns from its raids. The South American coati is omnivorous and feeds on berries, snails, insects, lizards, rodents, eggs, roots, and frogs. It has an extremely mobile snout that it uses constantly and with considerable skill to sniff around for food. The white-lipped peccary is one of the 2 peccary species resident in Venezuela. This animal is strictly herbivorous, but can be very aggressive and dangerous when in large groups. Deer also live in wooded areas of the plains known as plain bushes. They flee from man, their perennial hunter. The wedge-capped capuchin and howler monkeys are 2 members of the numerous monkey family to be found in the New World. The howler monkey is the better known because of its sharp cries that can be heard miles away. Among the felines, we have the jaguar, now practically extinct, thanks to hunting by man and the destruction of its habitats. The puma, or American lion. The jaguarundi has a slender body reminiscent of a mustelid. It is the only feline, apart from the puma, that has a coat of a single color. It comes in 3 different colors, and all 3 can be present in the same litter. The ocelot has short legs, a compact body, and a furry tail, and spends much of its time aloft hunting for reptiles, birds, and mammals. Its body and large eyes are those of a nocturnal hunter. Like the other spotted cats, its markings provide it with perfect camouflage against the vegetation. It has been hunted for its fur, and its cubs have been taken as pets. Lastly, we have the most corpulent of South America's mammals, the tapir. It lives in several different types of forests. Related to the rhinoceros and the horse, the tapir is an excellent swimmer. It is a herbivore that feeds on leaves and shoots. Its predators are the jaguar and man, who hunts it for its meat. The forests are the home of numerous species of reptiles, the much-feared snakes among them. Here we have a false coral snake, which can be told apart from the true poisonous variety because it has no white or yellow rings, nor does it have any fangs. It usually lives underground. The boa constrictor can reach up to 4 meters long. What it actually feeds on are small and medium-sized mammals, particularly rodents. Here we have a harmless diurnal snake that feeds on frogs and lizards. Its local name is Little Queen, and it grows to just under 3 feet long. This is a false fer-de-lance that imitates the coloring of the real thing. It is light brown with between 27 and 52 dark spots on its body and between 10 and 25 on its tail. These snakes can measure up to 3 feet. The real highly poisonous fer-de-lance or bone tail has a triangular head and body and a short pointed tail. It is nocturnal and one of the most dangerous species in Venezuela. They can reach up to 6 feet long. The well-known rattlesnake is found in the arid northwestern region of the country. Other reptiles include the typical collared lizard with its large head, short body, and a collar around its neck, which feeds on insects. The iguana is a species that can be found in lands where temperatures are high. It spends most of the time in the trees or on the ground eating fallen fruit. A large number of epiphytes, in particular orchids, also live in the forests. Most of the Venezuelan plains are traversed by large watercourses flowing into the Orinoco. Nevertheless, there is a web of small rivers and creeks that become partially dry or dry up completely during the summer. Any streams that manage not to go dry have riparian forests adorning their banks. A rich variety of fauna live here, on and under the water, and are worth a closer look. The rivers are inhabited by a wide variety of fish. Some are in demand commercially and by sportsmen, and others are the prey for the different animals that feed on them. We have the fearsome piranha, capable of killing any large animal that dares to cross its path in a matter of moments. The freshwater angelfish, a largish fish that's good to eat. The coroncho, so named because of its rough scales. The black knife. The corito. The damselfish. The electric eel. The frogfish. A freshwater angelfish, much used in aquaria. The large peacock takes its name from its half-moon-shaped markings, similar to those on a peacock's tail. The payera, a kind of catfish that is excellent to eat and much prized in local cuisine. One of the aquatic mammals found in the region is the manatee. This is a herbivore capable of living in both freshwater and seawater. It eats aquatic plants. The caiman, a small alligator also found in the savanna, feeds mainly on fish. As our boat approaches, it takes refuge in the river. Another reptile, now scarce because of its persecution by man, is the Orinoco crocodile. Like the jaguar, this predator was once found in large numbers, but today is on the verge of extinction, having been hunted for its valuable hide. So as to get an idea of the birds that inhabit this region, we're going to take a trip down one of the rivers of the Orinoco Plains. An Amazon kingfisher watching the water, ready to dive in. A pair of greater annies. A yellow-crowned night heron. A hoatzin. A ringed kingfisher. A gray-necked wood rail. A sun bittern with its typical walk, moving its head. A cormorant taking a rest from diving to dry its feathers. A tricolored heron poised to fish. A yellow-headed cacara. Here are several chachalacas on the ground, a rare sight. A pair of Orinoco geese, startled by our presence. A flycatcher. And an enormous heronry with thousands of birds. Following the course of the river, as it opens out into the plains, we come upon a spectacle of herons and wood ibises. These views of the spectacular sunsets typical of this part of the country bring our visit to somewhere in the Orinoco Plains to a fitting close.